Hello everybody, it's Ranzo here. So I know that this video is a little bit different. It might seem a little bit strange, but I was watching an interview just now and some things were shared that really got me thinking. We're living in a very strange time. And I think you can agree, right? We're seeing things online, things about aliens. People are talking about aliens. The government is talking about aliens. We're seeing so many things happening. So many things that we thought were conspiracies are now actual factual things that are just coming to light, right? So now our reality in 2025 is very different from our reality back in 2005, right? 20 years on, things are quite strange, right? We're learning things online that at one point were thought to be conspiracies, right? This video again is one of those videos that might make you scratch your head a bit and maybe peer in a little bit deeper into some of the things that we have been told. I'm not trying to make this video a conspiracy video, but I came across something in an interview, right, with Professor Zhang, right, from Predictive History. His YouTube channel has been blowing up of late. He's a Yale-educated, Beijing-based educator. In light of various videos circulating on the internet about Charlie Kirk's assassination, and also people, right, calling for investigations, calling for answers, things that just don't seem to make sense. And I understand that this might come across a certain way for some people, but I want you guys just to listen to this perspective because so far I have not heard of this perspective. It's very strange, but could there be some truth to this thing? I encourage you guys to go and watch the full video because based on what he's saying we're on the cusp of World War III. And some of the things that we saw happen is a part of that. It's a part of a grand scheme, a grand plan. It sounds strange, but oftentimes fact is stranger than fiction. Let's watch this video.
And now you have this Charlie Kirk thing where they're opening all these chapters. They're going to use his turning points as a recruitment tool. And it's got these religious undertones. I mean, it's really perfect. Like it's how perfect is that they're now about to go into this war? Like it seems a little too coincidental.
Yeah. So again, I think there's a script in place. And they're following the script to the letter. And I completely agree with you about Charlie Kirk and how convenient it was for their plans. But there's something about the Charlie Kirk assassination that's really important for your viewers to understand, and that there's this occult religious element to the assassination that people don't really appreciate. So the number 33 is really important in Freemasonry. It's a divine number. So the highest rank you can achieve in Freemasonry is 33, the 33rd degree. Now let's look at how this applies to the Charlie Kirk assassination. So the Charlie Kirk assassination happened on September 10th, which is 33 weeks after the inauguration of Donald Trump. Okay, the press conference, the FAA press conference where they announced they captured Tyler Robinson lasted 33 minutes. Okay, and they announced that that Tyler Robinson was arrested after 33 hours, and they repeated this number 33 hours after the assassination. Charlie Kirk was going to turn 34 days after September 10th. Okay. Now, if you go back and look at the picture of Charlie Kirk, when he was sitting there and talking to people, right beside him on the table were three hats. Okay. Three white hats with number 47. Okay. 44 plus 7 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33. Like, again, go back and look at like Charlie Kirk sitting there right before the assassination. There were three white hats right beside him on the table. Now, 47, of course, is Donald Trump's, he's the 47th president of the United States. But that's not a coincidence, right? 4 plus 7 is 11. Three hats, that's 33. So, in my opinion, if you just look at religious history, this will be classified as a ritual sacrifice. So, and the point of a ritual sacrifice, of course, is to energize and galvanize the followers for the tribulations ahead. which is, the wars that are coming.
Yeah, it is an interesting number, isn't it? I mean, it seems to, there's that old thing. It's like kind of confirmation bias, they say sometimes, where people will say, well, I see the same time on the clock all the time. But when you think about how many times you look at the clock and don't see it, but with 33, it's an exceptionally unusual number. I mean, it's just present in so many places, whether it's the NATO, that there's now 32 members of NATO, and the 33rd presumably would probably be Ukraine or maybe Moldova. But how coincidental is that? That,
Yeah.
they've timed it so that this, you're right on the fringes of, a major global calamity, and or even like, the 33 Liberty Street with where they hold all the gold. So yeah, there's definitely something to that numerology. I don't know if it might be a little bit of a stretch, but like you say, maybe it's an inside joke to them. Maybe it's if you're that well off and you can do anything and anyone and you can go anywhere and buy anything, you'd probably get a little bored and you'd want to, spice it up a little bit, right? So maybe there is an element of that where it's almost like it's like a sadist tendency to want to kind of play with your food, I guess.
Yeah. So I think that when you're at that level, when you have that much power and wealth, I think you tend to be very superstitious. And you're going to do as much as you can to ensure that whatever plan you have works out properly. So I think that there are some astrological elements to their plans. So I think they're superstitious, and I think they're very much concerned about aligning the stars in a way that allows them to achieve their plans. Another thing that I will point out is how obvious all this is, right? So, I mean, if you're just a regular person, you're watching the news, you're like, wait a minute here. The FBI story does not make any sense. And these text messages between Tyler Robertson and his roommate, it's instilling my intelligence. The guy's a Zoomer. I mean, and he was texting. They don't write like that. Okay. So there's like tons and tons of evidence that demonstrate that the FBI story, the official story, is false. But what you need to understand is that's part of the plan. It's something that they call revelation of method. So the idea here is that,
Again, this guy, no, again, check out his YouTube channel and see all the things he talk about. I'll just give you guys a quick look at as it relates to what his channel looks like. So this is a predictive history. You can look at the different titles and see the things that he covers. The birth of evil, right? How evil triumphs, right? Death by meritocracy. How societies collapse. So he has some interesting subject matter that he talks about, right? And he speaks about these things from an academic point of view, right? An academic perspective.
these people are very superstitious and they think that what they're doing is divine. But at the same time, they're very legalistic in that they want to maintain as strategies. They want to be able, like, at the end of the day, to stand before Jesus and God and argue their case. And if people are like, they destroyed the world and we got here because of their sadistic, psychopathic tendencies, then Jesus is going to punish them, right? But then they turn to Jesus and say, no, the people were complicit in all this because the evidence that we planned this was so preponderous, so abundant that they had to fool themselves into believing otherwise. Because you look at 9/11, you look at JFK, the evidence there's a preponderance of evidence. If you just look at it just objectively, and just look at the evidence slightly, you'll know that it was all planned, right? So they're making that loophole. It's almost like a fine print in a contract, right? So like the evidence is presented to you in such a way that that this is all planned, and you just say, well, I didn't know, then you are complicit in the act.
It's like that old superstition of, you have to invite the devil in.
I wasn't planning to make a video about this, but again, I came across this and I felt like I needed to just shine some light on that segment. Again, it's a very long interview, so you can go and watch it in its entirety. But again, it's like they spoke about different things from the Antichrist to just various things that they believe are coming down the pipeline. Like, for example, a World War III, a war with Iran that's right around the corner. You saw the title of the video. The title, let's just see. The title says, again, World War III, a major war begins in October with Professor Zhang. Again, is that true? I'm not sure. But again, there are many things that we're seeing happening in the world. Myself, along with many Christians across the world, have been having a lot of dreams about wars, about even myself, the Antichrist, the mark of the beast, all these different things we've been seeing. So we're right on the cusp of something big, something major, something massive. But again, some people are asking questions. I wasn't expecting to stumble across this, but we understand that God is in control, and our job as believers is to trust in the Lord with all of our hearts and lean not unto our own understanding. In all our ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct our path, right? We need to make sure that we are rooted and grounded in Christ, because the days ahead, again, if the things that we're seeing now and the way the world is moving right now is anything to go by, it seems as though we are again at the tail end of the last days. All right, until next time, guys, thanks for watching. God bless you all. Stay close to Christ. Again, if you're playing church, if you're a lukewarm Christian and the Lord isn't your number one priority, I think it's time for us to make Him our number one priority, because the deception in so many ways is coming, man. It's ramping up, and the only firm foundation that we have is Jesus Christ. Until next time, thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Bye for now.